ignoring all the other metals and just looking at the silver alone, this is definitely a silver discovery. You know, it's we shouldn't be seen through the sole prism of being a zinc company. We're certainly a silver company as well. And true to form, you know, we have a 100 gram meter contour from drill hits that extends the better part of 3 kilometers with some really nice juicy hotspots, and as we've seen this morning as well.
Group 11 Resources is a zinc-focused exploration and development company drilling its advanced stage Baliwire zinc-lead-silver discovery in the Republic of Ireland. The company just released additional strong drill results from Baliwire, and CEO Bart Jaworski is here to review these results. I'm Martin Gagel with Market Radius Research. Please remember, this is neither a recommendation nor investment advice. We're here to learn about the company. Bart, welcome, and congrats on some additional very strong numbers.
Yeah, we're very pleased this morning to have released basically a 50-meter hit now of 10% zinc and lead, and we've got 330 grams per ton silver. We've got 0.4 copper. This is basically in addition to our January 19th intercept, where we had a 30-meter hit of very strong grades. We've now basically 4 or 5 weeks later now drilled another 20 meters below that, or basically got the results back more precisely, got the assays back from the 20 meters below that. And that also hit some very good mineralization. So together, we have a 50-meter hit of mineralization, very strong. Plus, and perhaps more importantly than that, is that we've just announced the 3 new zones testing the deeper copper-silver target. And this is the first test of the deeper copper-silver target, 350 meters over from the last fence of drilling, which was the initial test of whether the deeper copper silver mineralization even exists. So we've essentially extended that deeper copper target 350 meters over from that hit. So that's basically a synopsis of where we are. And
sorry to interrupt, you did 30 meters. That is what you reported back in January, and then you just added another 20-ish meters onto that for the total of 55 with that hole. That hole had 2 results released off of it at 2 different times.
Yeah, back in January, we only had partial results, and now
Okay.
we've got more results. And actually, we still have results pending on this hole 51 that'll be coming over the next, the coming weeks.
So that one just keeps giving and giving.
It's a very good problem to have so much mineralization. You have to keep assaying more and more of the hole. So it was a fantastic hole. It's our best intercept to date, for sure. Beats our January number from earlier this year. But I assume you can see my slides, Martin?
Everything looks good.
Super. So I'm just going to go and just remind you where we are in the country of Ireland here. We're in that yellow circle, which is the Limerick area. We're on the Rathdowney Trent, just down the road from Lachine and Galmoy. Basically, if you zoom in on that, you get this picture. Just to remind you, everything in blue there is Glencore. Everything in green there that I'm highlighting is our ground, Group 11's ground. And the Baliwire discovery is that solid yellow box, which is 20 kilometers south of Glencore's Palace Green deposit in the yellow outline. That's one of the largest undeveloped zinc deposits in the world, 45 million tons, 8.4% zinc and lead. Right beside that, of course, we have our satellite deposit called Stone Park, which is a 5 million ton deposit, 11.3% zinc and lead. And we're here to talk about Baliwire in those circles. So I'm just going to zoom in on that yellow box. And this is the state of play as it was back in December. And if you recall, in January, as we mentioned at the very top of the call there, we had this hit here, basically toggling back and forth, which expanded our mineralization, that red extension, basically, which got us 30 meters of 15% zinc and lead, over 500 grams per ton silver, and a 0.7% copper. Just a phenomenal hole. And that also spoke to the idea that, we weren't expecting to see that mineralization that far south, which means that we may have missed something to the south, as I'm flashing back and forth here. So that's kind of the upside, which we're testing right now with further drilling. But what we had this morning is basically this hole. So we essentially have a 350 meter step out from the previous hit, or the previous test of the deeper copper silver target. And what we got is new mineralization subwall sorption, which I'll show you in a cross section momentarily, plus 3 new deeper copper silver zones of mineralization. So I'm just going to show you A to A prime now, which is a cross section. This is looking at it from the side. This is the intercept from January of this year, with the red and the green there. The red is predominant zinc massive sulfide mineralization. That green is more copper, silver, and antimony mineralization. And this is today's news. So we had assays pending on the bottom of the hole. And so first off, we got this pink zone in there. So right underneath the massive sulfide from the previous news release, we got this 22-meter zone of roughly 4% zinc and lead and 33 grams per ton silver. Not too shabby at all, but that included some high grades in it, 17 meters of 5% zinc lead and 40 grams. Within that was nearly 8 meters of 8% zinc and lead with 60 grams, 2 ounces. And included in that was a higher grade zone yet of nearly 3 meters of 10% zinc lead, nearly 100 grams per ton silver, and 0.15 copper. So if you take that together, basically that's what this is. So if you look at the whole zone in its entirety, that adds up to about 52 meters of 10% zinc and lead with 330 grams per ton silver, 0.4% copper. And then you can narrow it down all you want. But essentially, it's essentially 50 meters, roughly 10%, roughly about 350 grams per ton silver, and about 0.5% copper. A really stunning hit. Certainly our best to date since inception of the company 10 years ago. So that's number one. Number
Bart, sorry, and that is about 350 meters deep or 350 meters along the drill?
Yeah, along the downhole, it's about 330, 340 meters deep down. From surface, vertically down will be about 300 meters depth or so. So it's relatively shallow. It would be considered relatively shallow. So that's the first piece of news. And the second is these copper silver zones. So very happy to report we now have basically illustrated or proven that we have deeper copper silver system mineralization below the Walsortian limestone, 350 meters over from the last test. And this is the first hit of that. So there's an 8.4 meter zone here of 6% zinc and lead, 130 grams per ton silver, 0.5% copper. Included in that is 3.7 meters of 225 grams per ton silver, very strong, 1% copper, and a little bit of antimony cropping up in there. And over narrower widths of about a meter, you're getting up to 0.2% antimony, up to 3% copper, and 600 grams per ton silver. So it's a really, really nice hit. But that's only one of three. So the second one is lower down, about 9 meters below that one I just mentioned, is this zone here, about 10, call it 9 meters. Within that was about 3 meters of 35 grams per ton and 0.36 copper, which is great. And then down here, we got a third zone, which is about 11 meters, roughly 12 grams per ton, 0.4% copper. And included in that, again, is around 3 meters of about an ounce of silver and over 1% of copper. So nothing wrong with those numbers. Those are good, strong copper silver numbers. Better, I would say, than the fence that we got 350 meters away. So this would be an improvement, I would say, in grades. Certainly on the second hit here, where we got the 3.7 meters of 225 grams. That's about 10 times what we're getting in terms of silver from the last fence of where we tested the deeper copper silver target. So then we have this, I mentioned we have yet another batch of assays yet to come. And this is basically from this area. And we note in the press release that we do have a fault here as well. So we'll see if that fault runs once we get the results back from the lab. So that's one other piece of the puzzle. And then, of course, we're going to follow this up. So we have 2 holes planned here and a lot of question marks as to where that mineralization continues. So it'll be very interesting drilling over the coming weeks and months as we progress on this fence line here. So very, very good news indeed. Again, that's 350 meters away. I just want to remind you what we're comparing this to. So 350 meters over towards the northeast to that shaded area that I'm just flashing back and forth is basically this section line, which was from December of last year. And again, just to remind you that this is what we hit then with the 3 deeper holes there fanning out. We hit these green zones, which are essentially the same copper silver steeply dipping fault structures. And again, you can see the grades that we're getting about 3 meters of about an ounce, 1% copper in each of those, including that top right hit there of 6 meters of nearly 1,000 grams per ton silver, nearly 4% copper, which itself is likely to do related to some kind of a steeply dipping fault structure as well. And so plus we were inferring from from these separate copper silver zones here that there's probably parallel zones. If we follow these zones up, we might get more mineralization of massive sulfide at the base of wall sorption. We also had hit what seems to be a parallel zone of mineralization out here, if you recall. And so we're not too far away from that in terms of what we're looking at this morning, in that we do have deeper fault structures, which if you project them upwards would imply potentially parallel zones here as well. So that's another little tidbit from today's news, that parallel, the idea, the emerging idea of parallel zones at Baliwire is certainly corroborated by the most recent drill results here. So that's sort of part one. Part two of the news release is that we got two more. Just to briefly mention, we announced two more holes: hole 18 towards the southwest and hole 50 on the northeast. I'm just going to show you hole 18 very quickly. Apologies for the phone call here. And basically, just to show you that this is the cross section. And if you recall, back in January, we had made this discovery of hole 19, where we hit 4 stacks of mineralization. Essentially, we also announced this lower grade zone over here. Well, this morning, we basically are announcing hole 18. Again, we didn't put this section in the news releases. The news release is already quite long. And this is not material in the grand scheme of things. But for anyone that's interested, this is what hole 18 looks like from the side. And essentially what we're left with, again, just the whole idea, it doesn't really change, but it does corroborate our view that we have 2 strong zones here, clearly. We have 2 emerging zones peripheral to that, which appear to be gaining in strength as we drill more and more around it. And we have mineralization down dip over 1 kilometer here, over 1,000 meters down dip, which is quite a long distance down dip to have mineralization, which is a good sign that we may have parallel zones all along Baliwire. And these are the 3 follow-up holes that we're working on right now. So these are sort of in the pipeline. And then moving over to the other side, hole 50. Here we got essentially anomalous mineralization, nothing to write home about. But what it does show us is that we're on the right path as we approach the drilling at Anomaly D, which we're very much crossing our fingers on, because that's basically, we're just on the cusp of entering Anomaly D here, the gravity Anomaly D, as I'll show you now. So the target summary here, Martin, very quickly to summarize, is we have these dashed holes, or these dotted blue lines, are the holes that are currently in the pipeline. We are, as I mentioned, gravity Anomaly D is just there because I just mentioned it. And FYI, we're also going to be testing an Anomaly B here in the not too distant future. We do have this hole from 1997, which is the only hole previously done before us that hit any mineralization, and that's got 2.5 meters of 6%. So that's part of the broader Anomaly B area. So we're also very keen on that. But just to summarize the amount of holes pending right now, we have 10 altogether as it stands right now, snapshot-wise. As per the numbers there, each number there reflects each of the number of holes working right now pending. So certainly those 3 holes I showed in the cross section there, there's a couple of holes here. This hole, if you can see my cursor, is going to be testing that projection of high-grade massive sulfides towards that direction. 3 fan holes over here, which will be very interesting. And obviously, we stepped up north of hole 50, and we're stepping out to drill Anomaly D. So all exciting targets. And then if we zoom out a little bit more and look at our 6-kilometer long trend defined by these 4 gravity high anomalies A through D, all within the wall sorption limestone, defining that 6 by 2 kilometer search area. And of course, everything we've drilled, the whole discovery so far to date, is essentially on the C gravity anomaly. And we're just starting to spread our wings towards the D gravity anomaly over here. And as I circled here, and the B anomaly is there as well, just for reference. So lots of very good stuff this morning to report. And obviously, these are our upcoming catalysts. We're in the middle of a 25,000 meter drill program, fully funded, $8.5 million in the till as of the last reported quarter, and relatively cheap cost of drilling here in Ireland at about 150 Canadian dollars per meter. So Martin, with that, I'll leave it off. I've talked probably too long already, but hopefully that gives you a good gist of where we're at.
That's good. Just to remind us, that 25,000 meter drill program, about how many holes are you expecting that to be?
I don't have that exact number because we will be drilling quite a variable depths on each
Okay.
hole. So some of the holes will be only about, I would say, 100, 150 meters deep. Some holes might be 700 meters deep. So
Okay.
and the program is quite iterative in terms of each drill result we get. It's iterative, so we basically reiterate what we believe, what our
You
theories are.
learn and adapt and then figure, okay, we better put one here or make it longer or shorter or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Yeah, so it's hard for me to say that, but 25,000 meters, rough. The you can sort of back calculate our average drill hole length would be about 300 meters, 350 meters deep, I guess. So you can back out whatever that number is.
Okay. All right. The 10 that you have in process, are those a combination of have been drilled and are at the lab and have yet to be drilled, or just I don't need specific numbers, but like when you say 10 in process, what does that mean?
Well, these are holes that are either been drilled and are in the middle of logging and sampling, or just about to be drilled. So they're
Okay.
immediately ahead of us in terms of workflow. As opposed, there'll be many more holes coming, but those are a little bit further away. And again, outside of that window of iterative learnings from each of the drill holes. So we don't know exactly beyond that 10 where we're exactly going to go, but that we're learning as we go from each drill hole.
All right. And then on hole 51, that's where we keep getting additional results. And you're making a bit of a fan off of that one in either in process or you will be doing that in the future, correct?
Yeah, we are currently working on a second hole along that fence, just on
Yeah.
the basically down dip of hole 51. So that's definitely happening. And then the one based on that, we'll probably drill a third hole further south of that. I would imagine we'd want to drill to the north of that as well, because we know there's mineralization to the north
Yeah.
from the drill fences on either side of us. So it's just a
Yeah.
no-brainer. We'll do that as well.
And so you stepped out 350 meters and you're still getting that same copper zone that just not too long ago was a theory, and now you're getting some evidence that it's
Yeah,
there.
that's the key thing here, because this really improves our understanding and our conviction level that the deeper copper silver essentially feeders, what appear to be feeder structures feeding the zinc mineralization, are indeed just that, are indeed connected to the zinc mineralization. So
Yeah.
every time we're seeing zinc, we seem to be getting these copper silver feeders emanating down from the zinc mineralization, which is more flat lying, but underneath them, they're the plumbing system that fed the zinc appears to be these copper silver feeder structures. And again, that
Yeah.
was, you rightly say, that was just a theory only a number of maybe half a year ago, till we started drilling the initial fence towards late last year, and now we're basically stepping out 350 meters from that and hitting it again pretty much exactly as we would expect. We can almost line these things up, and
Yeah.
they are steeply south dipping. And so the idea for us now is we need a few more pierce points and just demonstrate. And all in that process, number one, is it continuously across the entire thing, which it appears it should be, but also we might expect pinching and swell along that structure, if you will. So there might be some
Yeah.
blowouts and higher grades in certain areas. We would expect some kind of variability, not just all homogeneous. So we're very keen to find some of those hot spots as well. And I think we got an inkling today, because that 220 grams per ton silver is certainly higher than anything we've seen down there heretofore. So that's exciting for us.
And the next holes, are you going to try to keep extending it to see how far out it goes? Or do you want to put one in at like 175 meters to see what it looks like in between the two data points you have right now?
I think there's some infill to be done, especially towards the southwest, because that fence that I just mentioned, touched on, that's a kilometer long, down dip. That's pretty much separated by several hundred meters away from the main discovery. So I think once we're very happy with defining that drill fence and knowing where the hotspots are. Then we'll be able to step out from that with higher confidence and connect the dots between the main discovery and that drill fence. So that's one area where very easy to sort of connect the dots, hopefully. And then to the north and to the south, where we're starting to seemingly get these parallel zones emerging, that's something else that we'll be stepping out. But obviously, we have a 6 kilometer trend to test. So we're very keen as well to not lose sight of that. And we're going definitely, like I said, we're drilling anomaly D as we speak. we will be moving on to anomaly B and anomaly A in the not too distant future. So definitely investors can look forward to drill testing anomaly A. I would hope this side of half year mark this year.
And the four anomalies, are they all going to be at the end of it? They'll all have been tested, or will anything have been sort of left out at the end of that
That's
25 meter?
yeah, no, that's the plan. By the end of this year, we'll have all four tested. Yeah.
All right. Okay. We covered a lot here. Anything else to add to this to give it some color, or we think we're kind of good here?
I think we're good. Obviously, good things happening in Ireland right now with the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Ireland spinning off the Irish Minerals Fund, and they've made two investments right into the Irish mining scene. So the first one is to help restart Galmoy with San Cristobal, Quinton Hennig. So that's a really interesting situation. Lots of drill rigs going on that project right now. And then right beside that is a private company called Minco. They just put out a very interesting hole, 600 meters deep. I think 4.5 meters roughly of 5% copper, plus zinc lead, nearly 30%. So just a really, really good hole. It's the first hole of the discovery, but hopefully that continues, and that they've received some money as well from the Irish Minerals Fund as well. So it's great to see the Irish Minerals Fund out there and active. And nice to see San Cristobal in the country. So that's aside from us, it's nice to have other people talking about Ireland as well.
That mineral fund, is that a potential source of capital for you? Have you applied to it? Do they step in just as a regular equity would, or is there some sort of government twist to it to make it less dilutive or favorable in some manner?
We're keeping them very much up to date as to what we're doing. So we shall see. I'd love to. Obviously, our doors are always open, and we'd love to have the Irish government support us when and if that happens. So I'm not quite sure as to what the. I think my understanding is that it's a plain vanilla type of investment shareholder. There might be some non-dilutive rights that they get pro rata rights. I would imagine, being the Irish government, that they have a right not to be diluted, or participation rights, that type of thing. That would be fairly standard. But as far as I know, it's fairly plain vanilla. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. The big PDAC is coming up here. I presume you're going to be in Toronto for the big show?
Yes, thanks for mentioning that, Martin. I will be there. I'm leaving this basically Friday. I'll be there for a week. So very, very much looking forward to meeting folks at the show. And doing a talk on Sunday as part of the European Day. And then the other thing I forgot to mention is really that last month, actually, I was on the road in Vancouver, and we had just put out some very interesting silver slides. So I would definitely encourage investors looking at us definitely to look at our new silver slides, because we put out some heat maps, ignoring all the other metals and just looking at the silver alone. This is definitely a silver discovery. It's we shouldn't be seen through the sole prism of being a zinc company. We're certainly a silver company as well. And true to form, we have a 100 gram meter contour from drill hits that extends the better part of 3 kilometers, with some really nice juicy hotspots, and as we've seen this morning as well. So certainly don't look at us just as a zinc company. We're going to be more and more out there, making sure the investors in the street know that we're a silver discovery as well.
You're a silver discovery with some significant zinc credits to
Yeah,
boot.
yeah, with a zinc lining. We're silver discovery with a zinc lining, as opposed to the other way around.
All right. And just final thought to leave investors with before we wrap it up here.
No, I think that's it. So exciting discovery, fully funded 25,000 meter drill program. The very, very exciting 12 months ahead of us here. So stay tuned. Lots of news flow coming up.
Thank you, Bart. That was great. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Martin. Appreciate it.